It does. I'd hate to be the one to undermine it. The affair with this Cambridge 4 business has been bad enough. We can't change the past, Peter. But we can learn from it. Before we fool ourselves into remembering it too kindly. Now, with this name on here, and the associations one might make, you see what I'm saying?
If you met Clara, I'm sure you'd agree her name should be on the paper.
Good God, Peter, I am trying to make you understand something. This is precisely the way the rot sets in. It's the slow knife. Members of this university were recruited to spy for the Soviet Union 10 years ago. Now members of this university are demanding we lay down our weapons, the only defense we have against the very same foreign power. What happens in 10 years' time? And what happens to the integrity of this college in 10 years? If you share your work on a whim with a girl you've taken a fancy to, and what happens 10 years after that? One cannot survive by making oneself vulnerable. That is why this university is still here. That is why I am still here. I hope you understand how much I care about your success. It's so common for work to fade into obscurity after it's published. It would be a shame if yours were denied my full-throated support, especially after so many years.
I've spent years working on this.
I cannot make your decisions for you, Peter. By all means, publish with Clara as a co-author if you're feeling generous, but if you do, you'll have to take your chances. It would be difficult for me to bring to bear any influence I have. By way of illustration, I have an address in Whitehall to give you.
Thank you.
Afraid I can't tell you much more now, but he's a good man. Cambridge man. And you may find there's one more reason to leave Clara out of things. I'm sure things will become clear soon.
I think you've made things very clear.
Well, let me know what you decide. Just knock any time. My door is always open. Peter, marvelous to see you. You've come at the right time. Even the 37 for 4. Terrible state of affairs. Anyway, you said you wanted to see me about something, Kate? Something you wanted to let me know.
Clara came up with the big idea too. Her name should be there.
What did I say? I respect your decision. I do admire a man who knows his own mind.
Dr. Hamilton. Peter. How do you do? So good to meet you.
How do you do?
Excuse me, I won't be a moment. Still 3 o'clock, yes? Oh, no need to reschedule. This won't take long. Should be very quick. Right then, please do take a seat. Delighted you could make it to London. I do hope you get the time to enjoy it a little too, considering how busy you've been recently.
Thank you. I'll try to.
Good, do. Anyway, I imagine you're wondering why we asked you here. Well, it can't have surprised you that your field of study has been of increasing interest to us, especially since the war.
Oh, you're interested in climatology?
Oh, of course. The paper is going very well, I hear.
Well, it is now, thank you.
Oh, yes, your professor, John Hargreaves, passed us a copy. And it's impressive, the amount of information you've managed to gather. Although I imagine the process of gathering it was rather difficult on your limited budget.
You know all about it, it seems.
As I said, we were most impressed and wanted to make you an offer. Reward, even.
Reward?
Well, you've no doubt taken your budget to its limits by now. What would you say if I could guarantee you a practically unlimited budget for further study? Ensure you had the best equipment, like the Americans. Take you right to the heart of things.
The heart of things?
I believe you traced the source of the radiation back to Antarctica, didn't you?
I did.
I'd say that warrants further study on location, wouldn't you?
It does.
I'm glad you agree. We could place you with the Falkland Islands Dependency Survey working in Antarctica, scientist bods. Happy amateurs, very passionate like yourself. Of course, you'd probably have to sort a few things out with the other name we saw on the paper before you go. I hope that wouldn't be too difficult, considering what's on offer.
The other name, Clara, you mean?
Lovely name. Probably for the best she wouldn't be able to go. Oh, not my say-so, I'm afraid. It's run a bit like the army down there. No women allowed.
Whose say-so is this?
I can assure you this is bigger than any one person.
Bigger than 2 people, you mean?
I see. Well, you signed those papers on your way in earlier, so I'm at liberty to tell you a little more. Things in the Antarctic, they've been a little strained recently. Lots of vested interests, territorial claims overlapping. Some sides wanting to secure the resources under the ground. Now, this kind of thing has been going on for decades, of course.
What kind of thing?
Oh, the Germans were flying over there, dropping swastikas in big circles. Before the war, that is. All a bit ridiculous, really. Now, I'm afraid it's the Soviets we've got to contend with. Bit of a royal mess, if you ask me. Still, we're trying to work with them.
That sounds like a wise idea.
It was wise, or so it seemed. It should all be in everyone's interest, you see. Every country signed up to something called the Antarctic Treaty. All a rather clever bit of politicking that happened behind the scenes a few years ago. set up to ensure that Antarctica is used for strictly peaceful purposes. No weapons are to be used. No one can make any future claims on the land. Now, if it sticks, everyone will be frightfully happy. Every side content that they've staked their claim. No more aggression, let's say.
Sounds sensible.
You'd have thought so. We've managed to placate the Soviets so far. This is all strictly confidential, but the sounds coming from Whitehall are not good. We're rather worried that it might all fall through.
I'm sure you are, but how does this affect me?
Well, in addition to the climate science you'd be able to do, tracking the radiation in the clouds and so forth, we'd like you to inform us of any other sources of radiation out there, what the readings are. If there are any bombs being set off on the continent, it's important that we know as much as we can about them. We don't know what the Soviets might do next. You'd be using the very best equipment, as I said, useful for your career, useful for us.
This is still climate science, yes?
Absolutely right. The less we're involved, the better, really. But as I say, if you can help us in this small way, it would certainly help that career of yours.
My career's fine. Thank you.
Well, after speaking with a few people, Professor Hargreaves, for example, I'm sure that whatever your academic ambitions, after working on something as important as this, you'd have no trouble progressing. And if nothing else, think of the adventure of it. What a reward it would be for all your hard work. What do you think?
All right. I'll consider it.
Please do. Sorry, I've got a meeting in Westminster in 20 minutes. We'll have to cut this short. It's been very good to meet you. Do let me know. And if this Clara thing feels like a sticking point, all I can say is sometimes we all have to answer to something greater than ourselves. Why not think of it as an opportunity for you and to do what's right?
I see. Well, I'll do what's right. You can trust me on that.
I hope so. Women come and go. This is for your country.